But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. And so we've come to cash this check. A check which will give us, upon demand, the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. This is the time to make real the promises of democracy. This is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valleys of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice reality for all of God's children. This is a quote from Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. This portion talks about how we all get freedom. Men, women, Muslims, blacks, whites, Latinos. One race of people's group is not above the other. We should all have equal rights. No matter what gender, no matter what religion, no matter what nationality. We all should have equal rights, not just one section. But on the same note, the next part is for my brothers and sisters of justice, another part of his speech. But there is something that I must say to my people, who stand on the warm threshold which leads to the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high place of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. Listen, you have a right to be upset at the struggle we are going through, but rioting is not going to give us any help. Rioting is just going to give the racists, the sexists, the bigots even more fuel for their hatred for us. So please, I beg you, stop this madness. Going back to Reverend King's speech. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I am not unmindful that some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come from fresh, narrow jail cells, and some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom has left you battered by the storms of persecution and staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been the veterans of creative suffering. Continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. Go back to Mississippi, go back to Alabama, go back to South Carolina, go back to Georgia, go back to Louisiana, go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities, knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friends, even so, though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. Just note, we will endure persecution. We will be persecuted for wanting change, for wanting to make the system better. But I beg of thee, endure. Endure with the knowledge that your suffering is doing something. Let us make these words that Martin Luther King Jr. said, let us make these words our fight song. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. Please, let us not fight back with our fists. Let us fight back, but not with our fists. Let us fight back, showing them that they will not crush our spirits, that we are here to bring about a good change. It will turn this country that is full of hatred into one which we can all live on equal ground. Let us not forget why we do this. Dr. Martin Luther says, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we'll be able to hew out the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will one day be free. And this will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing this with a new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountaintop, let freedom ring. We one day want to be able to shout from the rooftops these remarkable words. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so, let the freedom ring from the prestigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the Cretaceous slopes of California. But not only that. Let freedom ring from the Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from the Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and mole-side of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. Let us not forget this amazing dream. Let us make sure this amazing dream that Martin Luther King Jr. had happen, so that when it comes down to our children and our children's children, they can say, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.